I'm Doc Jenny. Join us in the Green Hornet as we travel the back roads of beautiful North Idaho. Every day is different, challenging, and never boring as we see all the farm animals, big and small. Hey, we're on the road with Dr. Jenny. Today it is Farrier Day at Lucky Duck Ranch, which is our ranch. So our trusted farrier is here, getting the horse's feet all taken care of. We're resetting shoes, and so we wanted to talk a little bit about how we make sure that our horses are ready for the farrier and how we are ready for the farrier as well. So it helps to have the horse caught and ready when your farrier gets there. So Nicole is going to work on Rita this morning, and we have Rita caught up and cleaned up and in an open area so that it's safe to work around. We probably have a few too many dogs out here for strictly safety reasons, but all the horses are used to the dogs, and so we do sometimes have to put the dogs away when the farrier's here. If your dogs are underfoot or are interfering with the farrier's work, it's definitely better to have them put up. It'll depend on the farrier. Some farriers like to work on the horses tied up. Some prefer that you hold the horse. For us, it depends a lot on our horses. Some of our horses do better if they have a little bit of correction and restraint, so that we'll hold the horses for the farrier, and the others, old pros at it, they can be done just at the hitching rail. It's definitely safer for the farrier in most cases if you have a good handler to have the handler holding the horse. So it also helps to have all the mud, especially this time of year where it's been really muddy where we are, to have the mud off the horse's feet so the farrier's not having to fight through all that mud. And then again, it helps to have your horses have fly spray applied so they're not swishing the flies or smacking the farrier in the face with the tail. So think of that too before your farrier gets there, and make sure that you can make this experience as pleasant for them as possible. I don't know about you, but my farrier is worth her weight in gold. So I want to keep my farrier safe, happy, and healthy to continue to come out and work on my horse's feet, because keeping their feet in good working order is so important for what I do with my horses, and it's important for all my patients as well. So it's important in keeping your farrier safe to realize that it's not the farrier's job to train your horse to stand still. That's actually the owner's job. A good farrier will help to make the shoeing experience enjoyable for the horse, and every farrier is good at helping a horse that's nervous or uncertain and working through that a little bit to some degree. But for most cases, it's helpful if the owner has already done the work ahead of time in order to make sure that the horse's feet can be handled, that they're not nervous about having their foot restrained. If you have a horse that can't stand still to have its foot held up or put on a stand, or is nervous about the process, especially for their first set of shoes, I highly recommend working with the veterinarian so the veterinarian and the farrier can be there at the same time. A little bit of chemical assistance through those first training processes while you're getting the first set of shoes on can make that horse a better patient for both the farrier and the owner moving forward for getting their feet handled. A bad shoeing experience can take a very, very long time to recover from. So it's important that the horse has a good experience with that. There are several different options out there. Working with your veterinarian so they're on site to administer a sedative is an option. We also have a sedative that you can purchase from your veterinarian as well, which is an oral that you could administer yourself. That oral sedative works very well for horses that just have mild anxiety. For horses that are really are defensive, so that they're striking, kicking, or moving a lot so that you have to restrain them. For those horses, I recommend an injectable sedation so that we can keep them calm and comfortable. That sedation is usually not something they need to be on for the rest of their life. Typically, if they've had a couple of good experiences, then you can wean them off of it. And so a lot of horses will have to have some sedation in the beginning, and then they can be weaned off of it. So I don't consider the need to sedate a horse for the farrier a bad thing. I think that we can use that as a tool to help both the farrier and the patient and the client all move forward into a better relationship. There's nothing worse than having a horse get injured or the farrier getting injured than when you have a bad experience when a farrier appointment goes wrong. Some of the behaviors that it's your job to make sure that your horse is not exhibiting while the farrier is there, aside from wiggling or pulling the foot away, is nibbling on the farrier. I don't know a single farrier that is okay with the horse's lips being on them while they're working. It's not too far from the lips to the teeth, and it doesn't take long for a horse exploring with the nose to quickly go to biting. I've seen lots of horror stories of farriers that have had pretty big injuries from horses going quickly from just nibbling to taking a nip. So protect your farrier by keeping track of where that horse's head is so that the horse isn't doing a lot of exploring on the farrier with their nose and with their lips. It's also important to understand that when the horse's head is moving around a lot, doing a lot of looking around or sniffing at the farrier or a lot of up and down, it changes the weight on the horse's feet, and that can make it difficult for a farrier as well. If the horse is doing a lot of looking around, it'll change the weight from the foot that's on the stand, and you can have a horse just by looking fall off of the foot stand if you have a farrier using that. Or it's just fatiguing for the farrier to have to hold on to that change of weight all the time. So I don't know if any of you have tried to do any of this work on your own. This is a lot of hard physical work. It takes a lot of strength and balance. And so the more you can make it enjoyable for the farrier, the less work that it is for the farrier, then the longer the farrier is going to be able to keep doing this work. Hey everybody, thanks for riding with us in the Green Hornet today. This is Doc Jenny signing out. If you like what you saw, be sure and follow us in the Green Hornet with Tormund, out on the road with Doc Jenny. Just click the link below and follow us along on our journeys. See you later.